in the 5th grade. I was in the 5th grade. This was the first time when I started to work with, and I was a pioneer, the member of the pioneer organization. It's not exactly Girl Scout, it's different. And usually young pioneers, some of them, work with the little ones, which were called in Russia Octobrists, little ones. There was an organization for little ones. So I worked with these Octobrists who were in the 1st and the 2nd grade, and I realized that I like it very much. And I told, that was for the first time I wanted to be a teacher. I said that I want to be a teacher.
I moved here 5 years ago from Russia, from St. Petersburg. And as we moved here, we decided that Russian language was important to my family and to me personally. And even though I was learning English very fast, it was important to stay connected, I guess, with my Russian culture. And so we decided that since I was interested in theater and I've done it before, that would be a good idea to join a theatrical production that was possibly in Russian, because then I could practice a little bit of both worlds, I guess.
My favorite thing about the program is that we get to act in Russian, because instead of just going to a Russian grammar class and sitting there and learning all the rules and also getting to practice the language, we actually get to do all of that, but in a more fun and exciting way.
There are a lot of venues for kids, not only in Russian, that people present something without actually deeper understanding what they're saying, what they're doing. You have to be responsible when you go to the stage. You have to be responsible to be in front of the crowd, because crowd is listening, seeing and listening. And so everything beyond the performance itself is much more important to my mind.
А первый друг Петр, первый и отрекся.
Вот ругаешься, нехорошо.
Before we actually start working on a play, we read a lot of other articles or passages, and then we discuss them.
All our, so to say, discussions that at the first glance have nothing to do with the play, with the performance. This is what important.
I guess what's really important is that when we read those texts and plays, and when we do them on stage, we get a chance to express our emotions as that character, and we get to relive that life of that person. We don't become that person when we're on stage, but we try to understand what that person must be feeling like.
To be someone else or opposite, to reveal yourself, it's much easier, it's more irresponsible when you are on stage. And there are quite a few among my students who just love to be on stage. And I'm not for them, actually. They are suffering.
My favorite thing about the class is the atmosphere within the group itself and how close everybody in the group is thanks to MV.
I think it's really great that there's a person like MV, because there needs to be someone who organizes this whole thing and cares about the people and the language enough to have the strength to reconnect them.
She really cares about her students outside of the class. It's not only, oh, did you learn your lines? Do you know what you're doing on stage? It's also, she asks us about our daily lives outside, and if we're going through problems, she's always there and ready to help us.
This group played a lot of different things, and Chekhov and Shakespeare in Russian and Molière, a lot. And Eugene Schwartz, who is very well known to those who know anything in theater. This is the 22nd season, because at first it was just the circle of friends, Then the younger boy grew up and started to confront me with Russian. He didn't want to talk Russian. And I created the group for him. They didn't want to speak Russian. They never spoke it outside of the theater or studio. But here, they didn't mind because it was stage, it was play, and it was a group of friends which were different.
I think it's important to do plays in Russian because for most people that move here or are born here, they have to have something in common with their grandparents or people that they're related to, because when it comes down to it, language is basically literature and the application of literature into our real life that is happening right now. And finding those connections and having something to talk about with your grandparents, it's really valuable because, you know, when you lose your connection with your cultural background, that's when you're lost.